Good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here and participating in this really exciting webinar. It is exciting to talk about the agricultural industry, and that's the idea behind this webinar, is to provide some assistance for those of you who are really looking to spread the word, encourage youth to be thinking about ag careers, and pushing forward to ensure that we have a really strong workforce as we think about not so much today, but tomorrow and 5 years from now and 10 years from now, and ensuring that Canada remains a big player within the world stage and can sustain what's required within the industry in terms of providing food and products for our consumers. So this webinar is designed to give you some tips, some techniques, and some tools in order to help you be successful. And it's important that you recall what Heather just mentioned, that the webinar itself will be available following this session, and you will have access to this particular PowerPoint presentation in order to remind you of what's been talked about. The Canadian Agricultural Human Resource Council is an organization that's here to assist. We're in business to support the human resource management needs of the industry, and that means making sure that we do have a strong cohort that's ready to take over and be the farmers and producers of tomorrow. So that's a really important piece of work that we do, and we are here to help. We are busy thinking about today's labor force for the agriculture community, but really kind of concerned about tomorrow's labor force, given that there are many openings. And that's the message that we want to send, that it's exciting to work in this industry and that there are position openings for consideration for youth who are thinking about their next steps and their jobs, but also their careers. So in doing so and in having these conversations, it's really important that you be an informed advocate. And that's what this presentation is about, is to give you those tools to ensure that you are sending the messages that you want to be hearing, and that you're encouraging them in the ways that we think will resonate with them. As Heather mentioned, please feel free to tweet while this session is ongoing. The hashtag #AgMoreThanEver, along with the others that she mentioned, is a great way to spread the word. And the Ag More Than Ever campaign is all about that. It's about ensuring that the conversations that are occurring within the industry are such that they're positive. When farmers are talking about the work that they conduct, that they're doing so in a positive way, talking about the value that the industry brings to Canadians, the exciting activities that they get to do within their daily jobs. And this presentation is about just extending that conversation beyond just farmer to farmer, but bringing it forward to the general population and the general public, and specifically youth, so that they may think a little bit outside the box, perhaps, if they're unattached to the agricultural community, as so many of our youth are, and so much of our population is, and get them connected to thinking about ag careers. So today, the focus will be on a few things. We have 5 critical elements that I'd like to discuss, and that is, we really need to focus on clarifying the value that agriculture brings to the Canadian and the world economy, because that's an important piece of the conversation when you're convincing somebody this is a great place to invest your professional life and your time and energy. We also want to talk about the exciting and numerous career opportunities that are available in ag. Not only is it important that we get people excited about the career, but we need to express that there are a lot of job openings, and job openings that may really resonate and be interesting to youth, and that they're exciting. Not just that they're numerous, but that they're exciting job opportunities. So we'll talk about that. We're also going to talk about the kinds of job openings that are available and a little bit about the labor market and what's happening and where that's positioning the Canadian workforce and the general public as they're advising the youth, the younger people within their families or that they know, and also the general public in terms of the actual youth themselves when they're thinking about careers, where the openings are and what they may be interested in, and how they can find that information and how you can convey that information. And we're going to talk about supportive conversations and why that's really important and how you as an advocate can participate in those conversations. What it is that you can do to generate conversations and support people's explorations of agricultural careers. And then we're going to talk about how you can get assistance, because likely you won't recall all that's been presented today. But there are many organizations like CARC, the Canadian Agricultural Human Resource Council, and many others who are doing work in this area and are available to give you some assistance and some fun things for you to try. So those are the pieces that we're going to talk about today. And take some time at the end, of course, to answer any questions you may have that have come up throughout the session. So, as I mentioned, it's really important that we are focused on the value, the return on investment. People are concerned about sending their kids to university if there's no end point in mind. We want professional training that leads to a job and a career. And in this same vein, we want to be explaining that agriculture is a great industry to be thinking about because it's a place that brings a lot of value to the Canadian and world economy and can be a great place to ensure that you've got an interesting and viable career over the long haul. As you well know, you work in this industry. The agricultural industry, when combined with agri-food, is a really large and impressive industry sector. It's a big contributor to Canada's gross domestic product, contributing over $100 billion annually. That's 8% of our GDP. And that's quite unique as an industry sector to be such a big and powerful driver of the Canadian economy, and can be quite surprising for those who aren't in the industry. It's not a well-known fact, and it's important that that gets conveyed, that participating in this industry is about participating along with many others. That includes 2.1 million Canadians that work in the agriculture and agri-food industry to ensure that we are preparing and developing excellent high-quality food products and other agricultural related products that support the needs of this country and the needs of others elsewhere in the world. The industry feeds Canada, it feeds Canada's population, but it also is a major contributor to feeding the world, and that's really something that resonates with youth around their values and their concerns around giving back and supporting at a global level. And Canada is well positioned for that. It's a well-respected industry, the 5th largest ag exporter in the world, known for all sorts of great products like canola and wheat and many others that rise to the top in terms of our exports of those products and their uptake in other countries. And because of that, the jobs in this industry are quite diverse because the industry is so large, has such a deep and expansive value chain, and crosses so many areas from input suppliers to primary production to processing and to retail, etc. So really lots of different kinds of jobs that are very interesting and appealing to many. And as technology, science, and innovation expand and continue, the industry then is always and constantly evolving and expanding. And that is great. As you know, Canada has signed new trade deals with new countries, is hoping to expand the number of products that are exported from this industry. And in order to meet those new trade commitments, to meet individual producers' desires to expand their businesses, the industry is evolving and changing. And this is a really exciting time for this industry. It's not a stagnating industry. It's not an industry that's going to go away. People always will need to eat, and the world will need to be fed. So really important when you think about how you explain the industry as a whole. Often those in agriculture tend to focus on the particular commodity that they come from and the particular segment of the industry that they come from. But when you talk about the industry as a whole, you really open people's eyes to the potential and explain how exciting and interesting the opportunities are. As the industry is evolving, we know that agriculture is the foundation for an expanding bioeconomy, that there is an increased consumer demand for agricultural products and food products, and those demands are shifting and changing based on a whole number of reasons. But know that the demand for bioproducts is really changing the way the place that agriculture plays in the world economy. And no longer is there such a drive for petroleum-based products, but now the cosmetics industry, the retail industry in terms of garments and all sorts of household goods are really looking to agriculture in terms of providing the fundamental foundational components to build those products and ensure that they are not relying on an unsustainable resource. And so agriculture, being the foundational piece to that, is really well positioned for growth into the future. There's also increased recognition and demand for Canadian brand. Canadian potatoes and Canadian beef, Canadian wheat are well-known commodities, well-known products. With that Canadian brand comes real recognition and interest in the industry. This country is known for its vast spaces and its beautiful landscapes, and that resonates with branding for our products. And at this point in time is really allowing business owners to expand into new European and other world markets because there's this brand recognition with the great nation that we live in. And so that will in turn ever expand this industry as we move to further see how much opportunity there is for our products, whether they're blueberries or maple syrup or our Canadian beef or poultry products. They are really well known and of interest to the world market. There also is an expanded role for this industry as our population expands. Not only the population in Canada, but the population in the world. And we know in 2050, it's expected that the population will expand to 10 billion people. And Canada is already a world leader and contributor to feeding that population, that world population. But that will need to expand. And it means that production capacities will need to improve, increase, and be more efficient in order for us to meet the requirements of tomorrow. And that's coming upon us quite quickly because, as you know, population growth is exponential. So as the industry evolves and as the industry grows based on consumer demands and based on the need for improvements around water usage and sustainable products, the reduction of waste, it really is interesting for people to consider that the industry is not stagnating, it's growing, it's evolving, and you can be a part of that change. That's what's exciting for youth, is that they can make a difference. They can make a difference on the world stage, and they can make a difference within the industry. They can really meet their entrepreneurial interests by tapping into the potential within this industry. So innovation is driving new products. It's also driving new skill requirements and new jobs. And the jobs that exist today in agriculture are going to shift and they're going to change. And that's exciting. So the jobs of tomorrow will look a little different, but that's really exciting for youth to be thinking about. So important within the conversations that you have for encouraging youth to think about this industry. It's also important not only to talk about the value of the industry and that it's this great growth potential, but that there are a number of exciting opportunities that are available in the agricultural world. And those opportunities are ever expanding, as I mentioned. And I'd like to play you a great video that we developed. And it's a video that is specifically been developed for youth. It's a youth market-based video. So those of us who are over 40 have to really pay attention and keep your eyes open, get your copies ready, because the information presented in this video is presented quite quickly. It's rapid fire, it's loud, there's music on top of the talking, there's lots of pictures. It's really aimed at the youth market, and it's aimed at them in order to get them excited about ag careers. And it's a free-to-use tool. I encourage everyone to take a look at this video. It's available in French and in English, and make use of it. In your conversations, direct people to the video so that they can not only hear it from you, but hear it from others. So I'll ask that FMC start the video, and you can take a look for yourself.
$7 billion. That's a big number. If we're talking paper clips, we could string them together and reach the moon and back again. But we're not talking paper clips. Instead, we're talking about humans and the world's current population. That's a lot of people. Put into perspective, if everyone joined hands, we could reach around the Earth 292 times. Crazy, right? You want more crazy? 1 out of every 7 of us on Earth today is undernourished. That's like cloning you and everyone else in Canada 20 times and sending you to bed hungry every single night. Feeding 7 billion hungry mouths isn't a small task, and with population estimates of 9 billion people by 2050, the task is only going to get more difficult. So where does your food come from? Let me tell you, it's not grown at the grocery store. It's produced by thousands of farmers who carefully nurture the land, their animals, and their plants to ensure the food you and the rest of the 7 billion people eat is safe, nutritious, and healthy. But they don't do it alone. It's a team effort, and there's both a science and an art to working in agriculture. Canada is an agriculture leader. In fact, we're so good at producing food, we produce enough for us as well as millions of others around the world. It's a big business with big opportunities. The food we export to other countries is valued at over $35 billion. That's like giving every high school student a new iPhone almost every single week. Over 2 million Canadians are proud to work in the agriculture and agri-food industry. We are the scientists developing plants that can thrive in half the water. We are the farm laborers who bottle feed the orphan lambs. We are the salmon hatchery workers who feed millions of fast-growing fish every day. We are the mechanics who install auto-steer systems on farm equipment so they can steer themselves up and down the field. We are the veterinarians who monitor the health of Canada's 14 million cattle. And we are the salespeople standing at the farmers market selling our organic fruits and vegetables in communities across our great country. Who are you going to be? Will you be the marketing coordinator who is promoted to manage the international accounts of a large cattle operation, traveling to places such as Africa, Europe, or South America? Will you be the researcher who discovers a more efficient way of extracting ethanol from crop waste, revolutionizing the energy sector? Or will you be a vineyard pruner who becomes an entrepreneur buys your own vineyard, and produces award-winning wines savored by Hollywood stars. In agriculture, the opportunities are truly limitless. You can make a real impact and help feed our growing population, or you can be part of solving our reliance on fossil fuels. You can work with your hands in the beautiful outdoors, or you can travel the world. A career in agriculture is your ticket to being who you really want to be. Discover your path at www.agripathways.ca. Working together, we raise awareness for the exciting opportunities in agriculture.
At this point in time, we're just waiting for the French video to finish. It's a little bit longer to say things in French, so it takes just a little bit longer for the video to finish in French. And once that's done, then we will come back to the PowerPoint presentation and continue with that. So I'm just waiting for the all clear from the technical booth, and they're going to let me know when we can proceed. But as you can see within the video, this is really about getting youth excited about ag careers. So I've now been told that the French video is done. I want to let you know that this video was developed in partnership with many organizations from across Canada, and was tested, pilot tested with a number of different youth groups in schools and whatnot, with great results. We had really good positive feedback, and we show this video at all sorts of events ourselves, as do others. And what we hear based on this video presentation is that that there are many exciting career opportunities. People are really interested, and it gets them thinking about, well, a career choice that I had never thought about before. It's also an interesting video for the ag community to hear, because I think it helps to inform the conversations you're having as those who work in the industry with your friends, your family, and members of your community who perhaps aren't aware of all of the opportunities that exist. So that video is available for you. You can access it through our council website, or and it is available in French or English or through this presentation. I also want to mention where this video drives you to, and it drives you to something called Agri-Pathways. And Agri-Pathways is a product that we've developed, and it's free to use, compiles all sorts of information about jobs in agriculture, and just helps people understand what the options are. And it's been developed with, again, youth and students in mind, but it's good for anybody who's doing some career exploration. And the product is searchable. So you indicate either what subjects you're interested in school, or you indicate what commodities or what kind of farms you would like to work on. And from there, you can explore from entry right through to owner and operator, all across the levels, the different jobs and the different responsibilities associated with a job in agriculture. It also clarifies the pathway, so how one can move from an entry-level position into owning or managing an operation, and all of the knowledge and skills you require along the way, and how you can get started. It also identifies a number of different frequently asked questions, and clarifies what can be expected in the day in the life of, what you would be asked to do in the operation, where exactly you would be working, and what you can expect in terms of salary. So it provides sort of a one-stop shop for career information within agriculture, and again, free to use, available both in French and English. A really good tool for conversations about ag careers. And then we see here a little bit of the information I described. So what kind of farm you'd like to work on, or what kind of subject, and then that is chosen. So if somebody is very interested in science, they indicate that, and that then gets they then get shown through to the pathways that relate to jobs in agriculture that are specific to science careers, and it describes that. So here's the pathway explained for the crops industry. You get an overview of the crops industry, then you can see that there are different levels explained: entry, laborers, experienced workers, supervisors, managers, suppliers, owners, and operators. And a full description of all of those elements are provided, including the frequently asked questions, in order to clarify exactly the expectations. So really good information that's available, all searchable, of course, and people can explore the pathways and find the information that they would like. So that's at agripathways.ca. We also have a product called Agri-Talent. So if you got somebody excited about ag careers, it's sort of this next step. Well, what do I do about that? You know, how do I get started? And this product, again, free to use, it's basically Google for ag training. So you can find the latest courses or workshops or webinars or even events within the agricultural industry. And it's searchable by subject, duration, or location, and then you can save your searches. So a really interesting product. This is what it looks like. And you can see that there are step-by-step searches. So if you're searching for a particular piece of training within the province of Alberta, you can then refine your search for the subject of training, the duration of training. Perhaps you only want a 3-day course, and you can see what your options are. So here we see a list, and this is how the lists show up. And then you click through and find more information based on the information that's presented to you. It also includes options on events. You can find out about the latest conferences. This is a screen capture of the Agricultural Excellence Conference that was presented in November of last year, and just talks a little bit about what you can learn there. And there's also a rating system that's included. So moving to be a little bit more like how the rest of the web is moving, consumers can rate the experience they have with their course providers. And that just gives a little bit of additional feedback for you as somebody exploring the options. So some interesting tools, of course, available on tablets and available on smartphones. And you can find out about whatever is latest and greatest through the RSS feeds. So Agri-Talent is a great tool for explaining all of the options, very easy to use, and a great tool for you in your conversations with those doing career exploration. I also want to talk to you today about the need to clarify not just how great the industry is and the value of this industry and the number of exciting careers, but I want to clarify, I think it's important that you clarify the position openings. So exactly what's happening within the ag labor market is a piece of this. It's not good enough to be interested in a career if there are no openings. And that's a really important message that we need to get out is agriculture is hiring. We are open for business, we're expanding, and we need people to join this great industry to help sustain it and to help propel it into the future and for future success. So really important messaging around that. Right now, the Canadian labor market is tight, and that has to do with Canada's aging population. We're well aware that in agriculture, people tend to stay longer, which is helping the situation in this industry. However, the baby boomers are retiring in the rest of the workforce, and it is creating a tight labor market for Canadian workers. And Canadian workers are being pulled and pushed into all sorts of different directions and are being asked to consider careers in all sorts of industries. not only within our own borders, but in international destinations. So it's really important that you know that the youth of today are in high demand, and they are going to go where they know that there are exciting opportunities, that there are things that are available, and where they can have a long and interesting and healthy career. That's the information that needs to be conveyed, that in agriculture, there are a number of different position openings available right now. Right from entry to owner operators. There are so many opportunities that are awaiting those who would like to get interested and invested in this industry. It's a great place to be an entrepreneur. That's what it's all about, to expand and to try new things. That's what being a producer is all about, and there are so many youth who are interested in those elements. It's also a little known fact that there are multiple job offers for every graduate of either a diploma or a degree program in agriculture, and that is not something that many industries can boast about. So when we're there, the findings range from 3 to 5 job offers that are made to each grad. And that's really exciting to those who are thinking about investing in their education. And it also it clarifies just the extent to which we are open for business. In agriculture, it's also really important to identify and highlight that the jobs are unique. It's not sitting behind a desk. It's not 9 to 5, and it's not being told day in and day out to do repetitive tasks. That there are opportunities for flexibility, for expansion, for getting out in the great outdoors, and for doing something that's quite meaningful. And meaningful to youth is about being good stewards of the land, being environmentally sustainable and respectful, and contributing to address global priorities and world issues kinds of needs. Feeding the world and participating in the agri-food industry is really aligned with the values of youth. And we need to be capitalizing on that and spreading and sharing those messages. Of course, lots of entrepreneurial options, so much available in terms of starting your own business, working with your own hands, making things work, and taking advantage of all of those newly negotiated trade deals that allow for expansion into new markets. So really important to stress that the industry is healthy and we're open for business with all sorts of unique opportunities, not just in primary production, but opportunities that really leverage all sorts of interests. Those who are business-minded, those who are can pursue marketing and business management functions within larger operations. Those who are science-minded can focus on, all of the really interesting genetics elements and growth pieces around the industry that are focused on sciences. So all sorts of opportunities that cross all sorts of subject areas of expertise and can really get you thinking about applying their areas of interest into this growing and expanding industry. What's important when you're having conversations is that you're supporting them in innovative ways. And by innovative, we're talking about not just conversations one-on-one, although those are very important, talking with the people that you know, leveraging your networks, your friends, your family connections, but also you're getting out into the community and that you're having conversations with those who are in your community, not just youth, but the influencers of youth. Influencers of youth are their teachers, their guidance counselors, their aunts, their uncles, their friends, their parents. It's a large community, and we all need to be spreading the word that agriculture is a great place to work and we're open for business. So volunteering as a guest speaker can occur in all sorts of ways at community events in school settings. So right from primary on up through high school and into college university, share your expertise, spread the word, be an advocate, talk about how you're passionate about this industry, what drove you to participate in the industry, and why you encourage others to do so. Speak from the heart, speak from your personal experience, and be committed to supporting those who are putting on events, because they are all looking for speakers, especially teachers, really looking to bring their material alive, really looking at all of those age groups to make the course material relevant and stick in kids' minds. Not just about career exploration, but at the primary and elementary levels, about where food comes from. In the high school arena as well, in terms of not just where food comes from, but also the science elements and why it's important that farmers are participating in that, is to make those connections that science is related to agriculture and a big factor in ensuring quality yields and that production is successful and efficient. So be a guest speaker, conduct demonstrations, and do so as a part of those guest speaking opportunities where you've just marched into the principal's office and you said, you know what, I'm here to help if there's anything that you'd like me to do. And you'll be surprised how many public school administrators will take you up on your offer. That can include conducting demonstrations in a multitude of different ways. You can also offer tours, both through the schools or through community events. Offer tours of your operation, and you have to do so in a careful and meaningful way. But they are going to help the information that you're conveying come alive. So the other opportunity is thinking about co-op opportunities for students, or mentorship or placement opportunities. Schools are often looking for ways to enrich the course material through applied learning, and this is a means to do that, and that could be negotiated within the school setting. But mentoring students is a really important aspect, and that can be done all through the school settings, right through college and university. So raise your hand, participate, and engage within the community and spread the word. Spreading the word also means using social media. It's an excellent tool, as well as the regular media. Connecting through media and social media is a really very good way to push your message out beyond your farm gate borders and get the message out that this is a great industry to be participating in. There are all sorts of hashtags that are used. Of course, the Ag More Than Ever hashtag we talked about. There's also Ag Youth, Youth Ag, 4-H has a number of them. CYFF, which is the Canadian Young Farmers Forum, hashtag Teach Ag, Ag Edu for education, Future of Ag, and Ag Jobs. Those are a number of different ones, and I can make sure that that list is tweeted out at the end of this session so that you can ensure you are aware of all of the hashtags that you can be using to spread the word. And if you include the CARC handle, then we will also spread the word whenever you spread the word about what you're doing through social media. You have lots of people who are interested in being behind you and supporting your efforts. And that includes organizations. And we're here to help and provide assistance. CARC is only one of many organizations that are working on ensuring a long-term sustainable workforce for this industry. And we need lots of help from those within the industry. And we're here to help. As you know, there are a number of organizations, including the Ag More Than Ever campaign, CARC, 4-H, Ag in the Classroom, Food and Farm Care, both in Ontario and Saskatchewan, Think Ag. This is just a small group that I've pulled together and highlighted There are others as well, but I'm just going to talk about some of the things you can find through these organizations to assist you with your efforts. In terms of the Ag More Than Ever campaign, they have a fantastic website where you can access all sorts of great information. You'll see here on the slide, there's an infographic, Find Your Future in Agriculture, that describes the industry, talks about some great stuff. This is something you can leave behind at an event, or if you're working as a guest speaker in a school. They have an advocate toolbox that includes some other things, and lots of great things that the Ag More Than Ever campaign has done. You know, they've started this conversation within the agricultural community, farmers talking to farmers about more positive messages about the industry. And now it's time to spread that outside of the industry and start talking to the general public and really getting them engaged and interested at the local levels within your community. So the Ag More Than Ever website is a great place to go to get lots of good information. They've got fun t-shirts and all sorts of great photos that really express how passionate people are within this industry across Canada. There are also all sorts of tools through the Canadian Agricultural Human Resource Council, CARC. We have our webinar that we're presenting today that will be available to you once it's finished. We have this presentation that will be available to you as a tool that you can access and use and draw from in having your conversations. The career awareness video that I showed you, along with the Agri-Pathways website, free to use. Anyone goes in, there's no signing in, you just go in and click around and explore. It's a great tool within a classroom setting, and you can use it live over the internet. And same with Agri-Talent, that Google for Ag training that is available. We're also here to assist through social media, so do let us know if there's anything that you're up to. 4-H is very busy on this front, both 4-H Canada and the provincial 4-H organizations. And you can go to both the provincial sites or the 4-H Canada website to find information and links. And at the 4-H Canada website, you can find links to the provincial organizations. And they have some great supports. They put on great events. And it's good to connect with the organizations that are local within your jurisdiction on any efforts that you are following up on. They'd be happy to hear from you. There's also organizations across Canada called Ag in the Classroom, which many of you know about, and a new national body for Ag in the Classroom. So they have numerous resources in terms of infographics and print material that can be left behind, videos. They have access to speakers and can support any events that are ongoing. So always good to contact them and connect with them to find out more information and to learn about the different organizations within the different jurisdictions. So an excellent group that we work with often. We also have Farm and Food Care, an organization in Ontario and Saskatchewan. And through their websites, you'll find great information, some virtual farm tours, which are really helpful for somebody who's not knowledgeable about the ag industry. Some fact sheets, information about animal care, ag and the environment, and some additional resources. So a great resource for assisting you with these kinds of conversations. In Saskatchewan, the ministry has prepared something called Think Ag, and this is a really good resource to draw from. It's a booklet, and it asks some questions about what's your dream job in agriculture, and it highlights the people that you see on the front cover are highlighted within the document, and their journey, which is very different for all of them, through school and finding an ag career, it's really quite interesting and would resonate with youth. They're all young people that are highlighted. So a great catalog, a great site to get more information. That's it in terms of what I wanted to present to you today. All of the information, again, that I presented is available to you, and highlights just the real need to clarify the value that this industry is contributing to Canada and the world, clarify that agriculture is an industry that is hiring, we're open for business, we're growing, we're expanding, we're innovating, we're really aligned with youth values in regards to environmental stewardship and sustainability and world issues. And we're also here to assist as ag organizations to provide you with the tools and the resources you need to be successful with these conversations. So I will stop my presentation there and take any questions that you may have for me regarding this topic. And I'd like to hear from you in terms of the great ideas that you've tried, because this is a good opportunity to share with your fellow interested colleagues who are on this webinar. Share what you've done. What are the innovative ways that you've reached out to the community and had engaging conversations with youth in your community or at a more national level? Before I do that, I just want to highlight two more things. In the Manitoba Cooperator this month, I'm going to hold it up because you'll be able to see. Let's see if I can get this right. Manitoba Cooperator is talking about Greg Peterson. And Greg Peterson did something that was very interesting. He, in trying to explain the fun and the great job that he has in agriculture, he decided to create a YouTube video. And he tweaked the I'm Sexy and I Know It song and video into I'm Farming and I Grow It. And this, you've probably seen it because it's been around for a little while. And it's a great example of being creative and how you can have some fun with trying to engage with youth. And that's what he did. He was trying to explain to his college buddies what he does and why ag is a great place to work. And so he came up with this video, and he's done a few others since. And it's a good something to start your conversations with when you're in schools and you'll connect with students. The other thing that's of interest, I'll hold up one more. If I can get this. 1 in 5 teenagers will experiment with farming. So this has been prepared by faceyourfarmer.com, and it's tongue-in-cheek again, and this notion that it's taken off the 1 in 5 kids will experiment with drinking kind of notion, and it's expanded that to farming and sort of made it seem as if it's a negative when really it's just thought-provoking. And a great fun little piece that you can pass around to students within classrooms or to people, point to people, and just have some fun with the conversations that you're having with youth. So I'll leave it there and take any questions that you may have at this point.
So I'll just chime in here. This is Heather's voice. And we haven't received any specific questions. We have some comments, so I'll go through those. Just Carla from Alberta, canola producers, saying, you know, thanks for doing everything that you do. And they worked with you to improve agritalent.ca website, and they're really proud of that. And they love to support the great work that CARC does. So that was a comment from Carla. And then the other one is just Alberta in the Classroom, Ag in the Classroom. They just gave the website link, so classroomagriculture.com. And again, if anyone has any questions or comments or anything, just use the Q&A box, and then we'll ship them over to Portia so she can respond. But I'll let you know if we have anything coming in there, Portia. And otherwise, we'll just sit tight for a minute, if that's all right.
The other option is, I know we have some Ag More Than Ever staff on the call as well, and they could chime in and highlight some of the great work that they're doing.
And I'll just let you know as well that your comments about, social media and the opportunities there are well received, and Twitter's been lighting up while you've been doing your presentation. So it's really nice to see, this presentation connecting from, 4-H Manitoba all the way out to the Newfoundland Federation of Agriculture. So that's nice to see as well. You'll see that after the presentation, I'm sure.
Good. I know it's a lot of information that was presented, but I think that that's what's important, is people really understand that there's a big industry here and it's open for business and it's exciting.
I'm just wondering, we have a question here, whether you have the web address for Face Your Farmer. Do you have that offhand or handy, or we can look it up together?
It's faceyourfarmer.com.
Great.
It may not be active anymore, but you will be able to find this poster.
Great. And another comment here is, hi Portia, you've covered the topic so well. Thanks for your timely information. We'll be using much of your ideas this week and next month. Some other comments coming in. Keep going, everyone. There's plenty of time. And we have a check it out at farmbusinessconsulting.com. So I think they've posted your Ag Careers video there, Portia. So that's nice to see that happen so quickly. Okay, and we've got another comment here saying, I'd just like to add to the Think Ag slide. The Saskatchewan Ministry of Agriculture has expanded the catalog to include a web presence with more profiles and resources for students and teachers, and it can be found at saskatchewan.ca/thinkag. I'm wondering if there's any questions out there, questions for Portia. She's got a wealth of knowledge about all this stuff.
It's really important that as an industry we share. There's no point in one jurisdiction developing a great tool that's not used by another one. So we really, at the council, we really encourage the sharing, and if we can facilitate that in any way, we do. And Saskatchewan has developed an excellent catalog here, so I encourage you to take a look at it.
Okay, I'm not seeing anything else coming in at this time. Did you want to maybe wrap up with some final remarks, Portia, or fill the void if you like, and I'll let you know if anyone else chimes in here?
What's really important is that we have a mechanism to share the fun and interesting ways and innovative ways that you do start to engage with youth. Because this is a real issue as we move forward. We want to make sure we have a sustainable ag labor force. And although the number of farms is decreasing, and the number of the farm size is increasing, but the number of farms is decreasing, and the number of families that are attached to farms is decreasing, and most of our population lives in urban centers and is just that much more removed than we used to be 50 years ago from agriculture. And because of that, agriculture as a career is not top of mind for our youth today. We really need to be careful here. We have to do as much as we can right now to get back into the minds of youth to get them thinking about the great potential that does exist in this industry in order for it to continue to be such a great industry to work in and to be such a strong industry and driver for our economy. So it's really important that when you are engaging with youth, please do share what it is you're doing. Tweet about it, talk about it, send it to us at CARC. We'll tweet about it if you're not comfortable with doing so. Just send us an email. And we'll make sure that the word gets out, because the little bits that you do in your local communities then spur other people to think about doing the same within their communities. And it just grows and snowballs as an initiative, and people get inspired by the good work of others and get ideas and then can try them out in their own communities. And that's really important as we're trying to better connect with youth and get them thinking about careers in this industry. So I do encourage you to touch base with the council, and do let us know when you're making presentations or having conversations. Let us know how they go, what the results were, and if there's anything we can do to support them.
All right, wonderful. We do have one last question. Is there any website or resources as a producer to find farm labor? Are you aware of any resources out there for that?
I missed part of that question.
Oh, sure. Any websites or resources to help producers or farmers find farm labor?
Farm labor. In fact, we are at the council, because this is something we're really quite concerned about. We are just developing a national agricultural job aggregator, so a mechanism to connect those who are looking for work with employers who are looking to find employees. And that product will be up and running nationally, so it will serve all of agriculture, all regions of Canada, with really good, robust tools that have support for those employers as well, in terms of interview guides and job descriptions and all sorts of fun things. That'll be up and running in the fall of this year. So you got to stay tuned.
That's a good teaser. I like that. So everyone stay tuned, and maybe we'll have another webinar when that resource comes available to explain how to use it. And I really like your point about, what we can do to influence and impact the younger generation and their career choices. And, I know personally, sitting back and, I never thought I would have a career in agriculture based on the way I got to where I am. And I don't know about you as well, Portia, but certainly, now that we're in this position, there's a lot we can do. And as, parents and as farmers think about the type of image that you're painting for agriculture and whatever career in agriculture, and how that can influence the next generation, both in a good way and sometimes in a not so good way. So I think that's a really important point to take home, and seeing all the tools available from others in CARC as well. I think we've got a lot to work with, and certainly encourage people to get in touch with CARC if they see a gap or something that they would like to have as a resource that's not out there. I know you guys are pretty quick to jump on that and figure out the needs and meet those needs. So I think that's really great, and I want to thank you for today's webinar, and lots of positive comments coming in from participants, so that's quite nice to see as well. So thanks again, and just to remind everyone that this webinar will be available in the archive, where you can download it as well as watch it again, share it with your friends, etc., etc. So thanks very much, Portia, and thanks to Ag More Than Ever for bringing you to us today. That's wonderful.